Welcome to our channel, where we dive into the wildest Reddit stories. Today, we're counting down the top 5 insane stories about moving out with terrible landlords. Make sure to subscribe for more crazy content. Story number 1 takes us to Portland, where 34-year-old Marcus was a quiet accountant the a-holant. Marcus had never been in trouble in his life, but one Thursday afternoon, everything changed. He posted on the subreddit Landlord Problems subreddit under the throwaway account u/troubled tenant 23. Marcus's normal routine consisted of waking up at 6 a.m., going for a jog, and then heading to work. He paid his rent on time every month and never caused any trouble. However, his landlord, Mr. John Significant Othern, had other plans. Mr. John Significant Othern would constantly raise the rent and threaten to evict Marcus if he didn't comply. She looked at me and said, "You have no idea what you just did. I'm gonna make sure you regret ever crossing me." Marcus tried to re-significant Othern with Mr. John Significant Othern, but he just wouldn't budge. The situation escalated when Mr. John Significant Othern changed the locks on Marcus's apartment. Marcus was left standing outside, wondering what to do next. But then he received an email from a lawyer stating that Mr. John Significant Othern was being sued for fraud. The subreddit community rallied around Marcus, with over 10,000 upvotes on his post. The story ended with Marcus finding a new apartment and Mr. John Significant Othern facing serious consequences. But wait, story number 2 is even wilder. Meet a mother-in-law, a 28-year-old wedding planner from New York. A mother-in-law was known for her attention to detail and a brother-in-law to stay calm under pressure. However, her landlord, Mrs. Smith, was a different story altogether. A mother-in-law posted on the subreddit NYC subreddit under the throwaway account u/weddingplanner88. Her normal routine consisted of waking up at 7 a.m., checking her emails, and then heading to work. She paid her rent on time every month and always made sure to be respectful to her landlord. However, Mrs. Smith had a habit of entering a mother-in-law's apartment without permission. She looked at me and said, "I can do whatever I want. This is my PRO Purdy. I'm gonna make sure you know who's boss around here." A mother-in-law tried to re-significant Othern with Mrs. Smith, but she just wouldn't listen. The situation escalated when Mrs. Smith started stealing a mother-in-law's belongings. A mother-in-law was left feeling helpless and scared. But then, she discovered that Mrs. Smith was being investigated for tax fraud. The subreddit community rallied around a mother-in-law, with over 5,000 upvotes on her post. The story ended with a mother-in-law moving out of the apartment and Mrs. Smith facing serious consequences. Story number 3 takes us to California, where 25-year-old David was a new employee at a tech startup. David was excited to start his new job and was looking forward to exploring the city. However, his landlord, Mr. Thump Significant Othern, had other plans. David posted on the subreddit tech subreddit under the throwaway account u/newbieintech. His normal routine consisted of waking up at 8 a.m., checking his emails, and then heading to work. He paid his rent on time every month and always made sure to be on time for his shifts. However, Mr. Thump Significant Othern would constantly raise the rent and threaten to evict David if he didn't comply. He looked at me and said, "You're just a newbie, you don't know how things work around here. I'm going to make sure you learn to respect your elders." David tried to re-significant Othern with Mr. Thump Significant Othern, but he just wouldn't budge. The situation escalated when Mr. Thump Significant Othern started making unre-significant Othernable demands. David was left feeling frustrated and trapped. But then, he discovered that Mr. Thump Significant Othern was being sued for discrimination. The subreddit community rallied around David, with over 8,000 upvotes on his post. The story ended with David finding a new apartment and Mr. Thump Significant Othern facing serious consequences. Story number 4 takes us to Texas, where 30-year-old Rachel was a park ranger. Rachel loved her job and was passionate about conservation. However, her landlord, Mr. Davis, was a different story altogether. Rachel posted on the subreddit Park Rangers subreddit under the throwaway account u/parkranger90. Her normal routine consisted of waking up at 5 a.m., going for a hike, and then heading to work. She paid her rent on time every month and always made sure to be respectful to her landlord. However, Mr. Davis would constantly raise the rent and threaten to evict Rachel if she didn't comply. She looked at me and said, "You're just a park ranger. You don't make enough money to afford this apartment." I'm going to make sure you learn to live within your means. Rachel tried to re-significant othern with Mr. Davis, but he just wouldn't listen. The situation escalated when Mr. Davis started making unsignificant othernable demands. Rachel was left feeling frustrated and scared. But then, she discovered that Mr. Davis was being investigated for embezzlement. The subreddit community rallied around Rachel, with over 12,000 upvotes on her post. The story ended with Rachel finding a new apartment and Mr. Davis facing serious consequences. Story number 5 takes us to Florida, where 40-year-old James was a single parent. James was working hard to provide for his mother-in-law and was looking forward to a for very one sucks here start. However, his landlord, Mrs. Lee, had other plans. James posted on the subreddit Single Parents subreddit under the throwaway account u/singledad22. His normal routine consisted of waking up at 6 a.m., getting his kids ready for school, and then heading to work. He paid his rent on time every month and always made sure to be respectful to his landlord. However, Mrs. Lee would constantly raise the rent and threaten to evict James if he didn't comply. He looked at me and said, "You're just a single parent. You don't deserve to live in this apartment. I'm going to make sure you learn to appreciate what you have." James tried to re-significant othern with Mrs. Lee, but she just wouldn't budge. The situation escalated when Mrs. Lee started making unsignificant othernable demands. James was left feeling frustrated and trapped. But then, he discovered that Mrs. Lee was being sued for harassment. The subreddit community rallied around James, with over 15,000 upvotes on his post. The story ended with James finding a new apartment and Mrs. Lee facing serious consequences. That's it for today's video, folks. We hope you enjoyed these insane stories about moving out with terrible landlords. Which story was the craziest? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more crazy content.